Bree Mignano. Oh, I could have just asked you how to say your last name. Can you
Oh,
just
it's Mignano.
Mignano,
Yeah.
Mignano. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for having time for me this morning. It's your
So
evening,
much
I
for,
know.
yeah, it's evening for me.
You look lovely.
Thank you.
Can you please introduce yourself to the audience and tell us who you are and what you're doing, music-wise, but also otherwise? I mean, just what you're doing. Let's keep it more general.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Bre Mignano. I am a recording artist. I am a singer and songwriter and producer. I'm newer at producing. I have two singles out right now, but I'm also an actress and a host and a model. I'm kind of like all over the place in the entertainment industry. Background wise, musically, like I said, I'm newer, but I did like band all throughout high school, and that's kind of where I learned the very basic music theory, kind of very basic composition, things like that. Also, very basic jazz technique, which I think really helps in everything in music all around. Like, if you know jazz, especially like improvisation and stuff like that, I think you can do anything. So, I learned basic music stuff there. I've done musical theater since I was little. That's where I started to sing. I think I'm a singer first over everything else. Everything kind of stemmed off of singing for me. Um, and yeah, and then I've been teaching myself production. I've been trying to teach myself piano a little bit too recently, to get better at production. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm hoping in the future, just getting my footing right now. I'm trying to figure out how the music business works. I'm very familiar with the acting entertainment industry, and I think there's a lot of crossover there, just in that they're both similar industries marketing wise. It's very kind of like a relationship based industry. Both of them are. Both of them require a lot of self promotion, which is like kind of a love hate
You
thing.
seem, yeah, but you seem very good at it. I saw just
Right?
your Instagram account has like what is 40,000, no, 54,000 subscribers or followers. So you seem to be quite good at it. So I think just of this number you will succeed easily. And anyway, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so maybe go. Uh, yeah, let's dive into it because there are some more things you put on your Instagram account. I just checked,
Yeah.
and you are also a software engineer. How is this fitting in? I mean, you're a pretty girl, and you're a good singer, and you're a model, you're an actor, you're a host, and you're also a software engineer. Just I mean, you're kind of a whole package, if there is one.
Yeah. I mean, you have to, like, LA is kind of a crazy place and you kind of have to do a lot of everything, especially I'm not at the place where I can support myself fully off of my art. But the software engineering is new, this year specifically. My boyfriend's a software engineer, and at the beginning of the year, I was really unhappy with my job and I didn't know what I wanted to do. Just like as a survival job, as a way to make money. I'm also very left brain and right brained. So I enjoy the problem solving aspect. I really like math and logic. I have a degree in economics. And he was like, why don't you try software engineering? We need more women in STEM. He was working at a company. Yeah, he was working at a company at the time that was kind of like their target audience was females. So they were trying to find female software engineers to hire, and they just couldn't find them. So, like, I think one out of the four people on the software engineering team was female. So he was like, "Why don't you do this? I think it'd make you really marketable too." So I took a boot camp, a 3 month software engineering intensive boot camp, which is actually a very common way I've learned that people learn to code. A lot of software engineers don't have computer science degrees, and computer science and software engineering tie in together, but they're not technically the same thing. Computer science is the theory, and software engineering is coding.
Hmm.
So I took this boot camp and I started freelancing after that. And so I became a software engineer this year.
It's it's quite remarkable, you know. I mean, we're talking about you here, but I'm also in the IT field, and my
You are?
wife, yeah, yeah. But I'm, you know, I'm not a coder. I'm a supporter. I'm a product supporter for a
Yeah.
small but very nice company. So yeah, so I'm kind of know this field, and my wife, who's a molecular biologist, she also took a course, and now, you know, kind of she researched at Max Planck, and now she's also a coding, you know, for 2 years, and she also did a crash
Cool.
course like you. I mean, so that's why I see this. It's working because, like, I guess you can attest to this. It's it's a different side, but it's kind of how you um, communicate. You know, you learn another language, and how you do it, because there is like with music. You know, going back to our initial thing, there is no left or no wrong or right. There is kind of you can do it this way, and you can write code this way. It's kind of how you address things, and you can make it very complicated and go here and then go there, and if this doesn't happen, then go, you know. But it's
Yeah,
then you can see also really, how you say, beautiful code, you know, where you really thought about,
illegal.
and it's kind of music is maybe a stretch, but it's some art form. Let's say, put it art form, you know, on how
Yeah,
you say it. You know, like we talk now, it's I can say, "Hello, Brie, I am Tobias," and you know, I can be very, you know, but I can also say, "Oh, Brie, you look lovely," and you know, and you know, it's how you phrase things, and it's the same in coding. So that's why I don't even see it as such a far stretch. But of course, I mean, you are now in this field, and you know there's a lot of nerds who kind of live in a different bubble, you know. So actually,
yeah,
you're the perfect person to capture this field, because you're so you know, so well versed and so versatile in different things, that you bring a lot to the table, because the as you are, I mean, your boyfriend was absolutely right. As you said, there is very little women in this field, and even where women are more like, okay, don't tell my wife, more like nerds, you know, who are kind of like, you know, not the usual kind of. I don't want to stick my own grave here, but anyway, you are not the usual kind of person who does this, but I think you're perfectly the perfect kind to do it. Can you just before we talk about your music, you also put on host? What are you hosting?
So I've been working on a podcast. We started at the beginning. It's a video podcast similar to this, actually.
Hello.
Um, yeah, we started at the beginning of the year, and I filmed everything in January and February. It's an entertainment industry podcast for artists. It's really meant to give artists a free space to talk about whatever they want, their respective industries, their art form.
You copied this approach from me. It seems like.
Yeah, I definitely saw your show and I was like, well, I'm gonna do the exact same
No,
thing.
no. I copied it from Joe Rogan, so you know I learned from the
Oh,
best.
I love Joe Rogan's podcast. Yeah. So yeah, it was just kind of I mean, like I'm working, I was hired as part of a company that this guy started. He's an entertainment lawyer. His name is John Q. And he basically he sees like kind of the worst sides of the industry because he's an entertainment lawyer. He sees everybody that's gotten screwed over. So I think he really just thought like this is messed up that some of this stuff is happening. We should have a place where people talk about it.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of legal things too with regards to like kind of music rights and things like that that artists don't know about. And I think he wanted to really educate artists so they could know going into things and not potentially get like screwed over in the long run. So I was hired as a host on this podcast, and I've interviewed a principal dancer at the LA Ballet. I've interviewed actors. I interviewed a floral designer. It's been really fun. And I have 2 episodes out right now. They're still kind of coming out randomly. But that's kind of where I started hosting. I hadn't had any hosting experience before that. But now I know what it's like to be in your shoes. So I think I can like empathize with what you're doing. And
Don't
it's
make it too
not
hard for me.
easy.
Yes, no, but
Yeah.
usually, as you know, I mean, it's first of all, it's a very worthy cause.
Mhm.
This talk, it really because there's a, and we're gonna get into this later with your musical projects and stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, the worst thing for a host is if you have a guest on who's kind of you thought it will be very interesting, and then it's like, okay, so what do you do here? Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
and you did a video. Yes. And so when it's coming out soon, it's kind of it's,
Yeah.
um, I'm usually shooting for an hour, and you're looking at the watch, and it's like, oh man, oh man, oh man, I need at least half an hour more, and what can I do? But yeah, it happens. But most of the time, I mean, this is the good part for me, for my little show here. I pick the persons I want to talk to, and so far I messed up 2 or 3 times, but most of the time I have very interesting persons like you.
Yeah.
So one last thing before we go into the music. So you're also an actor. Um,
Mhm.
so you did a lot of musicals, I read. Um,
Yeah, as a kid, I did. I
mhm,
haven't done a musical in a hot minute.
I see. And
Um,
so what are your acting engagements now?
so acting is actually kind of my main pursuit at the moment. I think I fell in love with singing first as a kid, and that took me to doing musical theater, and then that's how I fell in love with acting. And then after that, I just decided to kind of go all into acting. And I don't talk about it as much just because it's really, really grindy.
Hmm.
Um, and like bookings are few and far between. I mean, I'm sure you've heard that the industry is full of rejection, as is the music industry.
Hmm.
But it's just like constantly auditioning, hearing nothing back, auditioning, hearing nothing back.
Hmm.
And that's just how it is. You get used to it. But so I've always been acting. I started doing on camera acting professionally when I was 18 or 19. So I'm originally from Sacramento, California, which is about 6 hours north of LA, where I live right now. And I originally had a agent in the Bay Area in San Francisco. And I was taking classes at a studio in Northern California and training. And the goal was always to move to LA and really pursue it full time professionally. But I did that while I was getting my degree in economics at Sac State and living at home to save up money so I could move down here. And so I would commute to San Francisco for auditions and usually not book anything. And it was a lot of work and very grindy. Did a lot of student films. And then I moved down here recently. I did a lot of commercials in the Bay Area. That's like the market there.
Hmm.
So I moved down here recently, 2 years ago, which is recent in like LA time. And I've been training here. I just booked my first feature film, which was really exciting. It was a Bollywood film, funny enough, but I think it's a pretty like big Bollywood film. It's basically like they have it's like a Bond type film, and they're like they have a couple scenes in America, and they're gonna dub subtitles over it. So the scenes were all in English and everything, and I had a
And you
small part
film
in
it in the
that.
United States as well, so you don't have to go to India.
Yeah, yeah, they filmed in LA, and that was really fun. But I do projects here and there. I train a lot. It takes about 10 years for the average person to get an acting career started here. So yeah, it's very grindy. I think I'm like on audition number 80 or something since I moved down, but it's all about networking and meeting people, making connections, meeting casting directors, making friends with them. And it's like, it's kind of you have to enjoy the journey. Like it'll kill your soul
Hmm.
if you don't and just enjoy acting for the sake of acting and get pleasure out of taping auditions and get pleasure out of acting in class. So that's like what my main pursuit down here is. And then I started music recently. It's always been a thing that I wanted to do. I've always had a love for music. And in quarantine, in during Corona times, I've just been going crazy. And that's just been my new project. My friend gave me his old production software, and that kind of gave me a kick in the butt to start. And I was like, okay, I have this. Now I'm going to make something.
Okay, so yeah, let's maybe stay with your music. I mean, I have a few other questions, and I just realized, I talked with a lot of musicians from LA, and one of the guy is also a video guy who made his own film, and maybe I can connect you with, I mean, I don't know what he's still working as a videographer or a movie producer. So
Yeah.
I can get you in contact with him because he's a cool dude. He does
Yeah.
music as
So
well, industrial, more music, a little bit harder metal stuff. Fleischkrieg is his. Anyway, I'll get you in touch with him because I just realized, he Richard Dorfman, I think it's his name. Um,
yeah, that'd be awesome.
yeah, and he's for some reason I talk with a lot of people out of LA. This might
Mhm.
be I don't know. This is the hub in
That's where
I'm,
people move to like be immersed in the
yeah.
industry.
So it's either this other thing in what is it, Tennessee or so, where a lot of people are, and then L.A. music.
Yeah, there's a huge music industry in Nashville as
Yeah,
well.
Nashville, exactly, Nashville,
Yeah.
Tennessee. Anyway, now let's talk about. So you already kind of set it up a little bit. So you got some music equipment from a friend, and you just started to produce your own music. And you have two songs out there, right? At
Yeah.
the moment.
Yeah.
Um,
So I can't actually say that I produced both of those songs because um, about a year ago, I decided to try writing music, and I wrote My Own Invention, which is the song that I just released. And I wasn't really sure what to do with it. And my friend, he's my boyfriend's best friend, who I've gotten really close to, like it's friendship. Um, he I sang the song for him because he makes his own music and I think it's really cool. And he was like, this needs to be a real song. Let me produce it for you. And I was like, what? Okay. And so he did. And then it was a song. And I just kind of sat on it for a year. I wasn't really like super happy with the vocals I recorded. I get picky about that. And I just kind of sat on it. And then he gave me his old production software because he upgraded.
mhm.
And and that's when I started trying producing myself. And then I produced the first song that I ever released called Find It With You. And that's how it started.
Okay, so why were you not happy with the vocals anymore from your first song?
Oh, I re recorded the
Ah,
vocals.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
So you're self-producing now, or is your friend helping you with the production?
So the next song I self-produced, but I've been realizing I'm kind of learning as I go from this whole thing. Um, and after I released my first song, I went on to Submit Hub and I started submitting things. And I realized from the feedback that I was getting that my production was very simple, and I don't know a ton about production, about balancing highs and lows and all that kind of thing. So I I produced my third song and I knew it wasn't fully there. So I sent it to another producer who I met through like a friend of a friend of a,
Yeah,
I don't know.
L.A.
And
L.A.
yeah,
It's
yeah. And I said, hey, I made this. Is there any way that you could go through it and just like add to it and make it really full? I know it's missing something, but I just don't know what. So he actually just sent that back to me and it's fully produced now. I just need to record the vocals and then I'll get it mixed and mastered. But I'm really excited for it because I think that's this next one. which I'll release probably around February, probably in February, is just like a major step up for me. The first two songs that I released, I'm kind of like getting my feet wet, figuring out the industry, figuring out how to market myself as a musician. And now I'm finally seeing what I need to do a little bit more. And I think this next one's going to be, I'm excited. I'm really
So you
excited.
you have like stepping stones. You're getting where you
Yeah.
want to go. Okay, no, but that's absolutely reasonable because we all start somewhere, and so you have like this will be the third song you release. So are you working on an EP or an album, or is it just single after single? So what's your take on? I mean, because we can talk about how to market yourself on the on Spotify and all this. What's what do you plan?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been doing some research and I've kind of, I mean, I don't have a concrete plan. It's always changing because I'm always learning. But for now, I've been hearing that since the landscape is changing so much, and for really small artists like me that are just starting out and independent, that it's kind of smarter to just release like a single every other month for
Mm-hmm.
marketing purposes, just to constantly be putting something out there that's new to market, just to kind of keep your name in the game
Mm-hmm.
like consistently. Because if you release a whole album at once, it's like a lot of hype, and then after a month, there's
You
nothing.
already got it, because this is what I would have
Yeah,
told you as well, because this is
yeah.
kind of, I'm a radio DJ as well, so for me,
Cool.
it's yeah, no, I'm going to play your music as well in my radio show.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, thank you so much. That'll
you're
be like my
welcome.
first radio placement.
Oh, okay, okay.
Thank
So,
you.
no, you're very welcome. But this is exactly what I tell other artists as well, because um, that's why I mentioned with radio DJ, I get a lot of stuff. And today, everyone on his cell phone can make his song and and produce it. And I saw you were on DistroKid. It's very easy to get your songs out there, um, and people get them out there. And when they send them over SubmitHub or wherever, I'm reachable in different ways. And so I get an avalanche of not so good songs, and I have to sift through. And so um, and going back to your approach, because this is how you do it. You have to kind of, there is this mudslide of music, and you have to bob your head up, from the big stream what comes out there all the time. In a way, you do it because you consistently you get followers, and when you release something, they see it in their release radar, and so I mean, you're doing the right thing already. So you got this
Yeah,
kind of figured out, and it also, once you have maybe like 6 songs out, you can make an EP and make a special bonus song or a live rendition of something, or just a piano version of another song on it. So to make it special, and so I think you got this figured out already. The
yeah.
one
I'm
thing,
actually,
so,
I'm definitely planning on re-releasing the first two songs that I just released,
mhm,
maybe a year or two from now, with more added to the production. Just from my feedback from Submit Hub and stuff, people have been saying like, love the lyrics and the vocals, but the production is really like bare bones, or could use some more of this or that. And so I think as I learn, I do want to revisit the first things later down the line.
absolutely, and this is absolutely fine. I mean, as I see it, music is always work in progress. There's
Mhm.
kind of, you make a snapshot of where you are at the moment, and that's fine, because otherwise, if you always, this is usually one of the things I ask, but you kind of answered it already. Um, uh, you never know when a piece is finished, because you can always add something, you can polish, you can put it in another chorus, or a reverb, or so you never get
And that's the
finished.
rabbit hole I'll go down to.
Exactly. And so, but one day you have to say, okay, now I keep it, like I freeze it in time. I freeze this is the snapshot, and I put out. And you doing, I mean, you're a pro already, because when you say, and later on, once I know more, because this is the thing, you always learn new things. and you get to know more people. You get to know better production people and mixing and mastering people. So then you can re-release it. Because the problem is, if you always doubt yourself, and I'm glad you didn't, you never release anything because it can always be better. So that's you did actually the right thing, and
That's what I figure. I mean, like from just from the feedback from that I've been getting, I like it was rough at first because I was really excited about the songs. Then I released them, and then people were giving me feedback about, especially the production on "Find It With You," which was the first song that I ever produced. I was getting a lot of feedback on that. And I was like, at first, I was like, oh no, I released this prematurely. This is not ready.
mhm,
And then I took a step back and I was like, I would have never known that this wasn't ready unless I released it. So you kind of have to like try, and I'm not going to say fail because it wasn't a failure. I still really love the song. I still think it's like still like I think it's decent work for a first production,
mhm.
but I think it's important to just put yourself out there and allow yourself to not be perfect because like how else are you going to learn?
Exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
and I mean, you're in the game in different areas and stuff. You need this feedback, and my point was just, if you wouldn't have done it, I would have not found it, and you would never progress anywhere. So,
Yeah,
um, um,
exactly.
on the other hand, I also get the other side. If you make a really bad mix and stuff, and sometimes I get a lot of music and I can hear, oh man, this is a great song, but it's so poorly done and it's so bad mixed. But it's still a good song. So sometimes I give it still a try and whatever. But yeah, and so you do already the right thing to revisit it a year later, not kind of bothering staying there and until it's perfect, because it's perfect is you know
It doesn't
sometimes
exist.
good enough. So at least you got something out. One tip
Yeah.
I can give you, and I guess you have thought about this as well, and you're in LA, there's a lot of musicians around you, is get somebody to remix your songs. So this is a nice thing as well, because in the best case you get kind of their followers interested in you, and your followers swap over, so you both have something from it. And I can imagine, with your music, it could work quite well, so because it's
Yeah.
electronic based, so there's a lot of remixers or artists out there who kind of do this, and then you can come on a compilation anyway.
Yeah. I hired somebody to mix and master both of the tracks.
Hmm.
And he's really cool. He's the guy that introduced me to the producer that I just worked with. And just that in itself has been great connections and a great learning process because I sat next to him while he mixed and mastered
Hmm.
everything. And it was just really, really cool to watch because he has so much more experience than I
Yeah,
do.
yeah. But when you know, sometimes it's kind of. I have to admit, I grew up and I played in a lot of punk bands, so my hearing is not that good. And if I sit like next to a pro and then, "Hey, do you hear this? I put on this, I heighten this curve a little bit. You hear," and I'm, no. So anyway, but you saw the magic they can do. When
Yeah.
even with a not so good recorded vocal track, they can still do something with it and enhance it and push it back or forth. And there's so many things. Anyway, you know all this. What I was maybe I didn't find, but what is kind of surprising, if you wouldn't have, there's no videos for your songs. Is this correct?
So there are promo videos, but they're not
Okay.
full music videos. I the videos that I've released, I shot with my boyfriends.
Mm-hmm.
I am a photographer, so we used my photography camera. Like my camera also does video. I rented out a studio in downtown LA for both of them, and he helped me by shooting them, and then I edited everything in like Premiere.
Mm-hmm.
And those are like they look good, but they're not like professional videos.
Mm-hmm.
I think I do want a music video in the future, and I know that's like a very important marketing tool, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm also kind of waiting until I can get it professionally done.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of music videos where I'm like, okay, this is obviously not the most like professional production, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be that. And I'm also like trying not to be too much of a perfectionist out there because, like we were talking about earlier, like you have to release something to learn.
Exactly.
So with regards to music videos, like it's definitely a future plan, but I'm not quite sure where I'm at with that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, if you have any advice with that, I would love to hear it.
I will get you in contact with my with a Dolphin guy. So I'm pretty sure you can find a nice deal and maybe even cross over. Because he's he lives actually together with another musician I talked to, and he introduced me to. So it's kind of like
Yeah, everybody just like
and
has a
it's all
roommate.
LA. We're living in the same house, and he does his videos, and he helps the other musician helps with his music. So I think there could be some crossover. Um, because yeah, like you said, with your strategy with releasing a song every 2 months or something, it also helps if you release a video in between that, and you're in this profession, and you know a lot of people, so there should be no reason why you should not do it. And as you just said, yes, professional, but also don't be too picky with it. I talked with another band who's very successful, um, and they had a 12 song, I mean, a whole album, and they made a video for every song. And I watched not all of them, but and they were not really that well done. And their point is, at least there's a video, because we kind of release a song and then we release a video, and then they have behind the scene footage, but all you can feature, and you get a lot of material out for your Instagram and for wherever you want to show things. If you have a second unit, behind the scenes footage taken, and here's how we edit, and here's how we did it, and here's this I'm in makeup and whatever, um, as you need fodder for your I mean, you're a professional. You should all, I'm not telling you anything new, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, the advice is like with your music, rather do something and do it as good as you can than not doing anything. This comes on to YouTube, and I'm a very not professional person on this, but um, YouTube needs something uploaded. The algorithm needs to pick up things. So if you schedule it right, there will be something coming up each week. And this also, and in YouTube you can preset it that it gets a premiere somewhere. People can. What I learned with the premiering things, you have um, special advantage that it can kind of gets twice in the subscription feed of the people who are subscribed to your channel, because they see it when you put it in, and then they can put on a reminder on, and then they see it again once it goes live, once
Okay.
it premieres. So anyway, this is just a little
Yeah.
tip. Do that, and I'm pretty sure, even with I don't, of course, I don't want to give you the advice to make a bad video, but even with a not so good video, and I have seen your photographs and stuff, so you have an eye for beauty and stuff. Even that could work, or maybe just some snippets and stuff. So
Yeah.
but like with your music releasing schedule, that there's something coming up. Oh, this is me mixing, or here I'm singing, and it just a 30-second clip or something, um, because I mean we can talk about this a little bit, because I'm in this game as well. As I hate to call myself an influencer, because I don't want to influence people. I just want to show people what I like, and this is how
Yeah.
my radio show is, and my Spotify playlist, and
I feel
this
like
this show.
influencer has like a negative connotation now sometimes, even
Yeah.
though just by definition it's somebody that, yeah, like you said, influences. Um, it's kind of like like I don't like to use that word just because some people are so like snooty about it, like, oh, influencer. But
Mm.
you have to do it in this business. Like you have to be on social media because that's what marketing is now. That's like what where the industry is and is going to stay for a long time.
Especially in these times, I mean,
Yeah,
I know
during
we
COVID.
started with the vaccine in the United States, so I mean,
Yeah.
there is light at the end of a tunnel, but if you don't exist if you're not on social media. So what I learned is hate the game, but don't hate the player. So I even if I don't like it that much, I play it, and for me, I play it like a game. For me, I'm always happy when I see, oh, there's a new subscriber and there's a new
Yeah.
there and stuff. So at the moment, I can say I mostly know them all by name, my YouTube subscribers. Um,
Yeah.
sorry,
That's
but
good though. It means you're engaged. It means you have relationships,
yeah, and
right?
this is this is the fun part again. In a way, you're just taking it to a different to this media. I'm actually quite happy, in these dark times that I have this, this setup and this thing and the exciting opportunity that I'm here at home and you're there at home and we can talk. So I can
And
be
you're there in Germany and I'm here in
exactly.
America and we can talk.
Exactly, and this is cool. I'm sitting at home, and later I have breakfast with my family, and I'm and when I talk with somebody so far away, I'm a little bit older than you, and I remember I was 7 or 8 when we got the first telephone.
Mhm.
And this was a dial, how you say, a rotary telephone and
Yeah.
stuff. And it costs a lot to call overseas, and it's incredible. And now, I see you even. It's anyway. Let's maybe move on to. So we were at the promotional stage. My advice here is just do something. Do a little things, and
Yeah.
I wanted to say something about your. Oh, yeah. Is there? I mean, at the moment we are in this kind of dark place where the world is put on pause, and I'm pretty sure there's nothing going on in LA, kind of live. Do
Mhm.
you have any plans on performing your music live?
Oh yeah, I would love to perform live. I mean, like I said, I grew up doing musical theater and live performance is just like it's something that I miss so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to kind of like ease my way back into that this time with my own music. And I love live shows. I've been thinking of ideas in my mind of how to make it interesting,
Mm-hmm.
especially on a low budget and on a smaller scale, just starting out. But I would love to, yeah, as soon as it's safe again and
Mm-hmm.
things are going again.
Yeah, I mean, there's this opportunity. You still can, at the moment, do live streaming and stuff, but
Yeah.
you have only these 3 songs at the moment, right?
Yeah. I mean, one of them is not finished yet. So I only have two songs at the moment, really.
Yeah, okay. This is a little bit a short concert. It would be.
Yeah, that's why I'm taking the COVID time of when nothing is happening to like build up a little bit of a repertoire so I'll have
Mm,
something to perform.
mm. So but you're working then on new songs, right? I mean, the first
Yeah,
one
of
is just
course.
in a
Always.
mixing, and you have some, coming. You're just working on.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them is almost done. That's the third song that I was talking about. And then I have another one that I'm like, um, I started it and it's somewhere in the middle of production.
Okay. Um, I told you before that I usually don't would try not to call this an interview to ask silly questions, but I still would like to know because I have a little bit of your musical background. What kind of artists influence you in this direction where you're going to? I mean, I read, Billie Eilish and things, but you have a you're still. Um, I cannot really place it
Yeah.
because it's not Billie Eilish, and that's
That's
absolutely
so
fine.
good. It means I'm my own thing.
Exactly. So it's your own thing. So just can you say a little bit where you're coming from? Music. I mean, or
Yeah.
let's put it this way: what music you are listening to? What do you like? What's your kind of thing?
Yeah, completely. So I'm still trying to find exactly like what my sound is going to be. And I'm experimenting with a lot of different things, but I do have like artists that have influenced me and styles of music that I just really enjoy. So like you said earlier, I really love Billie Eilish and Phineas and
Mm-hmm.
everything that they do. I love this new like kind of dark wave pop sound
Mm-hmm.
that's coming in. I've always kind of loved that like dramatic, dark,
Mm-hmm.
gritty, unapologetic thing. And I love that it's become so popular now, especially among like Gen Z and the younger generations. I love Lana Del Rey. This is so like basic, but I loved her first album specifically. I think her voice, like her range is a kind of about the same as mine, is very similar. And I love the her use of strings in the production and how orchestral everything is and
Mm-hmm.
how flowing and beautiful it is. I also really love Banks. She's like an independent artist, or not independent. She's not independent. She's just like she's more of a niche indie artist, I guess. And I think she's super original, and I really admire that originality.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I kind of like draw from all of those places, but then I also have a background in like jazz, and I love kind of incorporating like jazz, like swingy jazz, like energetic jazz, and that's kind of where I'm coming from in my next song. It's kind of a Bondy sound with it's like James Bond. Sorry, I'm just assuming that you know what I mean by
I know
Bondy.
what you mean because
So it's gonna be
Bondy
like very
is James
orchestral. Yeah,
Bondy. Let's put it James
yeah.
Bondy.
It's gonna be very like orchestral Bond with kind of a modern twist,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit jazzy. My vocals, I think, tend to go jazzy sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like what I am, I guess. I like those are my main influences.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, because I mean, this I can really say, without flattering too much. You are unique. It's I don't really
Thank
know.
you.
I mean, for me, I'm more into gothic, dark wave, and industrial. That's kind of my main thing. And
Yeah, I noticed I'm pretty different than a lot of the
yeah,
artists that you have
but
on.
I'm also, for me, you are more fringe kind of. You're in the dark pop thing,
Mhm.
but this is also what I like. I mean, I try to be as open minded as I can. You know,
Yeah,
I talk with a lot of different artists, and for me, there's always the distinction between I don't really like categories, and but you have to place things sometimes a little bit, just to kind of don't get overloaded with things because I if you ever listen to my radio show, it's a mixed bag. It's from everything from pop music to metal, industrial metal, even grindcore or something, really extreme stuff. This is kind of my range, what I like. But if you ask me if I would listen to R&B or hip hop, I would say no. But even there, some artists I like, but I wouldn't seek them out. That's my point. And as you said, you're having a jazz background. I avoid jazz because this is complicated, music. There's kind of basically it's just improvisation all the time. You have kind of a set of things, and then you
yeah,
just go and explode and see wherever you want to go. That's absolutely fine. I understand. Jazz is a really good learning tool, and most studied musicians I have talked to kind of this is what you learn in music school or university to just improvise and see patterns and follow them and make it your own. But jazz is for me so it's. tiring to listen to because I'm a more simple person. Let's put it this way. I like a simple structure where I can follow. But on the other hand, if it's too simple, I'm also getting bored. You have
Yeah,
to find the balance a little bit.
find
And
balance.
you did this quite well, and you said you alluded to this as well that you kind of learned how to create songs, and I think you're already quite good at this. Now you just have to polish them a little bit, but don't over polish them as well, because sometimes the roughness, the little edges are also I mean,
Yeah,
you just started out in this game, and you're I think you're playing it well.
thank
Um,
you.
one little gripe I have, but this is just my little pet peeve, you could say, or something. Um, I'm not, I'm here in Germany, and I think it's ridiculous in the United States that you have the swearing thing, that you beep things, and because I think
Yeah,
like everyone knows what's going on there. If you're like you beep 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 beep, and it's like I remember there was one Eddie Murphy skit where he was on MTV and he said, "Oh, you're still beeping the beep word," and then he went into a tirade and the beep 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 beep, beep. And
yeah,
I think it's ridiculous because people know what you're saying anyway. Um, and so I'm not for censoring things, but I'm also kind of, but this is just my personal view. I, I would avoid swearing in songs, and one of your song, is explicit, and they're like, ah, why would you do that? I mean, I'm all for you. This is, of course, your artistic freedom,
mhm,
and you should say whatever you want to say it, however you want to say it. But for me, it's kind of like, oh man, where I'm coming from, that's what you understand is, I know a lot of punk bands, and they're kind of like, oh yeah, and these are the bad guys, and blah blah blah, and it's where this is such an easy tool to arouse people. And I don't think you need that, and I don't think you wanted to do that, but I'm kind of like, why did she put in some explicit stuff in here? This is just my. You don't have to comment if you don't want to, but my
Oh,
little thing.
I'll comment. I'll comment. So with the swear words, it's just like I guess that's just how I talk. I
Mm.
swear a lot in real life. I don't swear on like when I'm doing interviews on camera or on social media, I don't swear at all just because it's like I just try to avoid anything that's like too controversial.
Hmm.
But in my music, I'm just like really, really honest. I think especially the F word is very impactful. So if I'm really want to make a point or emphasize a certain part, um, I'll just use it. That's like just I just feel like it's kind of just like my unfiltered voice, and I want to be as unfiltered as possible. I have been realizing though that if I put a swear word in, because of the censorship on the radio in America, that I'll have to like if I want to submit anything to a radio station or anything, I have to like get a clean version, which is kind of a pain in the butt.
Hmm.
So I think going forward, I actually have been making more of an effort to not do that as much, or at least if I do it, to do it in a place that you could easily just like silence that one word and it would still make sense. But yeah, that's just like my personal like form of expression, my personal way of being really raw and unfiltered.
And this is absolutely like it should be. So sorry that I kind of it just was. I mean, you don't have much songs out there, so it was kind of funny that one is kind of explicit and stuff. And on the other hand, and I mean this honestly, you are an artist and you should express yourself however you want. It's kind of, I hate that things get filtered, and also with art, as you will surely know, the worst thing that can happen to art is like that it doesn't phase you at all. That's like, oh yeah, that's a nice song.
Yeah.
It's like elevator music, or it can play in the shopping mall, and it's kind of, it doesn't have
Yeah.
any rough edges. It doesn't rub you anyway. Either you like it or you hate it, but at least you have a reaction to it. And so I'm absolutely with you to express yourself. Maybe we can talk about. I mean, you don't have so much live with music live experience yet, but the danger with this is also if you are, like you said, unfiltered and this is really you,
Mhm.
is kind of that you open up your heart and people can stab at it, and we talked
Yeah.
about the game, being out in social media, and sometimes people can be really rough on you, and this is the danger when you are this is a two-edged sword. I see it, because if
Yeah.
you are not honest with your music and you're not honest with your performance and what you want to say, then you don't reach your audience. But if you're too honest and too open heart, you kind of open yourself up to. I mean, this hurts more because you kind of put away your armor a little bit. Like you're in the game long enough so to know this. You kind of have, when you go to an audition, you hello, I'm Bree, and yeah, da, 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 and you don't feel it like this. You're like, oh, this is my 20th thing today, and I have to go there. But you're like, hello, da da da,
Yeah. I
and
literally was just filming an audition like that where I was like, I'm having a bad day. And then I had to be like, hey, I'm Bre Mignano. Like, buy this product. I was like a commercial or something.
yeah, and yeah, exactly. You did a lot of commercials, as you said, so it's kind of fake, and I don't mean it in a bad way. It's kind of like this is what you're doing, what you're paid to do and say. But here with your music, it's your thing. It's very private. It's very personal. It's your real true self, and this is what I meant with a double-edged sword. It makes you in in one thing it makes you very authentic. It makes you we see the real true you, but it also makes you very vulnerable. And I guess you have not had so much feedback, or I hope negative feedback yet. But this is the problem with opening up your heart.
Yeah.
I'm a little actor as well. I did a lot of theater plays and stuff, and so acting is one thing because you're a different person, and
Yeah.
you're having this other persona, and um, music is a little bit like acting too, and you will have a stage persona. This is why I do this talks, because I want to see behind the stage persona, which you don't have yet, because for obvious reasons. um, but I think with music, it hurts more if there's a heckler, or if you get booed, or something happens, because it's so personal. It's some real thing. You,
I
you get my drift.
completely agree. And I'm already kind of starting to feel that because in acting, I feel like I've grown a pretty tough skin in acting. I've been doing it for quite a while. I faced a lot of rejection. I felt bad and I can get back up now and feel okay in most situations. But if someone doesn't like your music, it's more like they don't like you. And I know just from even from submitting to blogs and things and playlist curators, some of the feedback that I've been getting, it's crazy because it's not even mean. It's just like they're just telling me what their honest opinion, and music is subjective.
Hmm.
But in the beginning, it was really rough, and it's still really rough. And it's something that I've still been working on because I am also starting out and I am also learning from all of this. So it's been like I've had days where I'm like, oh my gosh, do I just suck? Like, and I think every artist has those moments. I think it's an artist thing because I have a ton of friends who are actors, and they all, like, I've talked to them all, and we all go through the same ups and downs. And I think with an artist, you either are so excited about what you're doing and think that you're amazing, or you think that you're like literally the worst artist in the world, and
Hmm.
that you're whatever you make is trash, and there's like no in between. I've also been like experiencing, like you said, um, kind of like anxiety over the vulnerability of this art form because it's so
personal. The things I write about are like things in my real life. And I was actually really scared releasing my own invention
Mm-hmm.
because in the teasers and things that I released, I only played the chorus and I was afraid kind of that people would only hear the chorus or not really listen to the lyrics and think like, oh, well, she's just really self-centered. She just really likes attention. When really the song isn't about that. It's about separating my personal life and my real life from my social media facade. It's about this feeling that I think everybody feels because everybody's Instagram feed is curated. Nobody posts their worst days on Instagram.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
then it's about like this attention capital that has become a thing now that's like everyone's just like fighting for attention. Like
Mm-hmm.
attention is the most valuable thing now, especially now with TikTok, where there's this like concept of easy virality. Like, oh, anyone could go viral overnight. And it's like so much easier because the default page on TikTok is the For You page, which is just like anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it's kind of about, it's like an introspective song, thinking like, why am I doing this? You know,
Mm-hmm.
like, is this the real me? I feel like I've invented myself. I feel like I'm my own invention.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it and I keep doing it because when those numbers go up, that dopamine gets released in your
Mm-hmm.
brain. And it's like, I don't know if you've watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix, which is like a documentary that came out recently about social media and kind of like,
I heard about it, but I don't have a Netflix. So, I have
yeah.
only 24 hours per day, and I kind of,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
I
doing
totally
this.
get
I
it.
have a family, I have a job, I have
Yeah.
hobbies. Yeah, I heard of it, and once
Yeah. Yeah.
it's free to watch, because I'm not on Netflix, I will surely
Yeah.
watch it. But yeah.
No, you don't have to watch it, but it's just, it's a very interesting thing from a psychological standpoint and kind of like an examination of our society and social media now. Um, but just kind of going back to what I was saying, with the vulnerability thing and the putting your real self out there and putting your unfiltered voice out there, um, I was afraid that people would take the song on a surface level and not read into it or really listen to the lyrics.
Hmm.
And so that's like, it's a very vulnerable thing and it's scary. So I completely understand what you were saying about
Yeah.
all of that.
Hmm. No, so I mean, this is, yeah, I love it. It's a special art form,
Mhm.
because of this, and it makes it so special because you are the truest in yourself, if you make it right. If you really feel the lyrics, and if you fill it with life, and once you perform it, you get goosebumps because you know what it means to you, and you're really in the moment, and stuff. So this is the good thing and the bad thing, and you have to strike the balance, and you have to, um, kind of, yeah, make your
Yeah.
peace with it, because if you fake it, people will know it, and that's fine as well. There's, it can be still be nice, but it's not you, and you will not be happy with it, and people will notice after a while, that you're like, you're phoning it in, or like, oh, no, no, going through emotions and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
because music is something special. It's more, it kind of bypasses a lot of, barriers we have, and filters we have built in, because it touches the heartstrings, and this is how it should be. It, like I said earlier, the worst thing of art is when it's like, oh, it doesn't hurt me, it doesn't hit me, it doesn't do anything. It's kind of like
Just
when you don't need it. That's What's the point of doing that when you're just like everyone else, swimming in the mainstream and having no impact. Not that you're, you know I don't want to overhype it. You're not up to change the world, but someone might hear it, with your my own invention, if we take this, and it really talks to them, and this is, for this special someone, it means something more, and this is what you get from this art form, without bashing your other things you do. It's good that you do commercials, you get put food on your table and stuff, but this is not like you're once you are old and look back in your life and, oh, I did this toothpaste commercial and I was really really good, and
Yeah.
okay, but with your song it's like, I put this song out and I got a letter from one person I really touched, and this is the meaning of life. You already got it, connecting with other people, and in a way you connect there as well. But by the way, I just thought of something you can also do to kind of enhance your brand, if
Yeah.
because you already found SubmitHub. You could be a SubmitHub curator as well, because you could do shout outs for other artists you like, I'm on SubmitHub as well, and I get songs there, and put them in my playlist or radio show, and you could do the same as well, and through this you can do like I do with you. You can find
Yeah.
new artists you want to collaborate with, or you click with, and so you can expand your. I don't know, of course, how much time you have. I think you're pretty busy, but this would be an idea too, because I know one other person who also is a singer in a band, and she has a large following on Instagram, and does shout outs for other artists, and you could do
Yeah.
this too. And
Yeah, I thought about that actually.
okay, no, so yeah, and it's not, you don't earn much money doing that. It's the pay on SubmitHub is, yeah. I mean, not
Well,
worth
I
like talking
figured
about.
with how much it costs to submit something, I was like, they can't be making that much.
No,
But
no. I mean, I'm not. I'm a very niche channel here, and I'm also, I'm very restrictive. If you send me bullshit, I blocked like 400 artists already.
oh wow,
I don't give you a chance, because, like we said
yeah.
earlier, there are so many artists out there, and I don't wanna bothered by. Oh, it's my show. Bullshit. I can share here. um, I can,
Do-
because it's so, I have only a certain amount of time in my life what I on the day that I dedicate to this, and I want to enjoy it. I don't enjoy giving bad feedback, or giving feedback to songs that are in my ears not good. Of course this is very
yeah,
subjective or something, but I want to find songs and artists I really like. Like I found you. I mean, I think it was through SubmitHub. You sent
yeah,
it to me, and I was like, oh yeah, this is nice, and I want this, and I don't take pleasure in saying people, oh, this is really a bad song, and your production value sucks, and you cannot sing, and you cannot do this and that, and I don't take pleasure into this. So I, okay, I'm really mean. Maybe I block them right away. If I can see, okay, this is absolutely wrong, or sometimes people don't even check what my channel is about, and just submit to woof, to thousands
yeah.
at once, and like, nah, then I'm a little diva maybe. But anyway,
So it's
you
understandable
you
when
could
you only have so much time in the day.
exactly, and I want to fill it with worthwhile endeavors, like finding you, for example, and there's 20 people who wants to send me music that is really bad, and I kind of want to find the diamonds in the mud, basically, is all the stuff I get. Anyway, this could be a very not money wise. You will make a little bit of money, but like
Yeah,
$6 an hour or something if you break it down. Like
yeah,
nothing. Um, but the connections, you get a lot of connections, and you get worldwide connections, and you never know what will happen then, and you can get in a compilation, or other artists put you in their playlist and stuff. So um, that's not a bad idea. You should think about it. I mean, I I don't want to tell you do that, but it could be a worthwhile endeavor, and you have a large following on Instagram. So and as far as I saw, you kind of coin yourself more as a photographer or model there. and that's
Mhm.
fine. This is, one part of you,
Yeah.
but now you are also an recording artist, a musician. So this can, featured there as well.
Yeah, I'll look into that
Okay.
for sure.
So let me just. Oh, by the way, have you tried to, because you can do this through SubmitHub as well, to connect with any labels or something to get help from them? If you want to talk about it, if you don't want to
No,
talk about it, just
I'm
don't do it.
completely open to talking about it. So I haven't actually submitted to any labels yet. From what I've been reading, I just don't think I'm ready.
Hmm.
I don't feel ready either. And I do eventually want to start submitting to labels, but I want to give myself some time to develop as an artist, some time to figure out exactly what my brand is,
Hmm.
some time to have a solid EP to submit. Um, and some time to build a following as a musician as
Hmm.
well, to gain people that are fans that will listen, and aren't just following me because of my Instagram or my modeling or whatever. So yeah, I've thought about that, and it's definitely in my plans, but I'm just not at that stage yet.
Hmm. Okay, no, no, that's absolutely fine, and I like that you are very considerate about it, because for it could be very easy for you now to land a label deal, because you bring a lot of stuff to the table,
Mhm.
with your large following, and I mean, you're the perfect package. What I told you in the beginning, you're an actress, you're a model, and you know a lot of things already, and you're doing it right. um, but no, I absolutely with you. Just take your time, and also I'm pretty sure labels will approach you then, and this is even the better thing, that they find you, and they find you for the right reasons for your music, and not just because we want to take advantage of your following, and your good looks and stuff. No, it's so
Yeah.
keep on doing that. That's the right thing. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of through with my usual things. So
Cool.
I like, I have some questions I always like to ask, to kind of make it a little bit more interesting and funny. Um,
Okay.
but with you, it's a little bit more tricky, because I one of the questions I like to ask is, when you were on tour, were there any mishaps on stage? What, kind of
Yeah.
funny little things? In the moment, they might be really, breathtaking, but later on, you can. So you have been on tour, maybe not with your music, but you did musicals and you did a lot of acting. So were there any funny mishaps, some funny stories you want to share with the audience?
Funny stories.
Or scary, or now you can look back and it was like, what did I do back then? If you don't have any, that's fine as well, but
Yeah. I'm just afraid that I'll like just think of something and then it'll be like not. It'll be
okay,
just
I don't I told you this should be uh a friendly conversation. So don't okay, when forget this question. The
oh
other question.
okay.
Oh, you have to.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like if you wanted an answer, I mean there's been times when people have like forgotten props on stage and then like everybody on stage is panicking, but nobody in the audience knows. And so it's kind of like a
Okay,
lesson
that's
in like
cool.
just
Yeah.
keep going. Nobody knows how this is actually gonna go, so just keep
Mhm.
going.
And this, I think, really, this will help you a lot when you once perform live.
Yeah.
Because this is really, it's kind of the normal thing. Something always goes wrong. The sound technician kind of puts you a wrong mix, and you still have to go on, and still. I'm sure you're pretty well versed, and you will do it quite well. The other thing I'm going to ask you is, and where this might be interesting, what I usually ask is, did you have any starstruck moment? Did you meet anyone, on stage or off stage, where you're like, oh, this is kind of, oh.
Um, okay. I'm like, I have a couple, and I'm like, which one should I pick?
I think this one's more interesting. And it's not that I didn't actually meet him. I was so upset. This happened like a couple months ago, actually. A friend of mine who's a producer on the podcast that I'm working on
Hmm.
also produces films, and he was producing a short film at the time. And they needed extras for a few scenes in the film, and they wanted to keep it a closed set because of COVID. So they
Hmm.
just kind of wanted to keep it with people that they trusted. So he asked me to come help on set and do some extra work. And I was like, yeah, sure. So we filmed at this beautiful theater downtown. I'm blanking on the name right now. And we were filming in that theater. And downstairs from where we were filming, they were setting up all these like cool lights, flashy lights, and fog machines and instruments and things like that. I later found out that they were setting up for a Shawn Mendes music video. And I was like, I'm a fan of his music. And so I thought that was pretty cool. But people were like, yeah, but he's not filming until tomorrow. I was like, okay, that's fine. So later that night, we filmed till like 1 in the morning. But later that night, I had to use the restroom, and the only restrooms were downstairs. So I went downstairs. And in like the women's restroom in that theater is freaking gorgeous. There's like a powder room that's got like it's like a circular room with mirrors and
Okay,
everything.
okay.
And so I went to go
Sometimes I
use
hate not to be a woman.
yeah. The lines are always longer though. So
Yeah,
you
okay,
guys
that's true. That's what I like to be a man.
yeah. But anyway, I had to use the restroom, and I was downstairs, and there was like this tarp blocking the door, and there was sound coming from like outside of there. And somebody came up to me and was like, "Hey, you can't go in there. They're filming. You need to go like over use the men's restroom. It's really big." There was no one in there. And so I was like, "Okay, whatever, fine." And then later that night, my friend who was the producer came up to me and he was like, "Guess what I just saw?" And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Shawn Mendes just performed his new song downstairs." And I was like, oh, I was literally outside of where they were filming his music. Like they were filming his music video literally like 2 feet away from me, but there was a tarp and I had no idea. And I was like, I missed it. I was so
It would have been so
upset.
funny if you would have walked on. I need to use the restroom. Like,
I
hi.
would have been so embarrassed. That would have been mortifying.
Mm.
But yeah, that was like my close encounter with Shawn Mendes.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Um, yeah. Yeah, thank you very much for your openness.
Thank
I'm
you.
really feel, I think you are a very grounded person, and you do well because, first of all, this is just one facet of you, you know and this is maybe new because you're a little bit more vulnerable than in your acting or photographing or hosting pursuits, but it's a worthwhile endeavor because releasing things that comes from your heart is something special. It's I guess I'm preaching to the choir. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm really happy to have found you, and so thank you for your openness.
Uh-huh.
um, I
Thank
wish
you.
you all the best, and I want, of course, that you send me your new music once you put it out, so that I can, play it in my radio show and also, put it in my playlist. Um, so yeah,
So appreciate
um,
it.
you're very welcome. Do you have any last words you want to share with the audience? Any special thing? You don't have to, but if you think of something.
No, I just want to say thank you so much for having me. And if you've listened to this point, thank you so much for listening and being interested.
My pleasure.
My music is out there. It's available to stream on Spotify. My Instagram,
I will link to it in the description of the video
yeah,
so people can
thank
find
you.
it
And
easily.
my Instagram is at Bre Mignano. That's BreeMignano. And yeah, that's where you can find me. That's all.
Okay, good. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Have a lovely evening. And if there's something new coming out, like a video or an EP, just get back in touch with me, and we can talk about this, or I can at least promote it in my little influencer ways. I'm not as big as you, but yeah. So anyway, and I will get you in touch with the Dolph man.
Yeah.
Richard.
That would be
Richard.
So
Dolphin, I think
cool.
it's his name. Um, so maybe you can make some videos, or some harder metal stuff.
Yeah.
It could be interesting to have a mesh over the things, because you seem quite open-minded, music wise. So and who knows, he can help you with a performance later, once you are allowed to do. Anyway, I like you, we're all in this together, and it's like a okay, I don't want to over thing this, but it's like a big family, and we all just want to, in a way, entertain and kind of bring out the our music, and show this artistic side of us, you know. And I
Yeah.
think this is the truest form you still can do today, without. I mean, you can be a painter as well, of course, and you are a photographer, so you best. Anyway, you get my point. I like to
I just
connect.
get
I
it. I
like to
get
connect people,
it.
and I think this is the fun part, that you have one thing in common, and yeah, I really like this. Okay,
Yeah.
so thank you very much. Have a great evening, and whenever something news come up, you know how to contact me.
Yeah. I appreciate everything so much. Thank
You are
you.
welcome.